through normal
I'm trying to
methods.
this one.
Not a problem. Kadeem just left, but he'll be joining us back in a moment, I'm sure.
Yeah. So you guys are actually you're actually able to get into the Zoom meeting?
Yeah, you couldn't get in?
No, it doesn't like me today.
Do you want me to resend you the direct link?
No, I mean, I have the link. You can try, but it was the one I got today.
Yeah.
I'll resend the invite from actually the Zoom site.
Okay.
Let's see if it'll let you in.
It could be my dumb computer. I finally broke down and ordered a new one. Oh, here we go. Let me try it.
Yeah, my computer just randomly stops broadcasting video. I mean, not that I'm doing you any service either way.
Cool.
Thank you.
It's not working. It must be, I just probably have to restart, so I'll just go ahead and do it audio.
Excellent. So 6 p.m. is a better time for everybody, it seems, than last month. Was this okay for everybody? I asked Sabrina to do it later so it wasn't during business hours. I know some people like Bob have real jobs.
But I'm working remotely, so I don't have to deal with all the traffic. So I can do 6 o'clock very easily.
Good. Good.
Until I go back to work.
Okay, cool. So so we have a quorum. Melissa, you want to? I'm not Melissa. I'm sorry, Sabrina. You want to start recording?
Yep, it's all set.
Okay, thank you. So did everybody get? Well, actually, let's call the roll call for the sake of the recording. And Mark Allen, Chairman. And if you want to go down the line.
Melissa Matuska, voting member.
Helen Roman, voting member.
Hey, Bob Abriola, voting member.
Kadeem.
Kadeem Roberts, voting member.
And Peter, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, just say your name for the record that you're here. Peter, just state your name for the record, just so we the roll call. You don't hear us?
He frozen.
Peter, do you hear us? Peter?
Looks like he's changing headphones or something.
Peter? Okay. Well, Peter gets sorted. I've heard from Emerson, who's not able to make it. Brian Casper is not able to make it, and Janet, who is not able to make it. Otherwise, I believe everybody's accounted for. Peter, are you back with us? Are you muted? Can you sign language?
Can you text through the Zoom? I'm not seeing a text function, but sometimes you can IM people while.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not seeing if. Hold on.
There's
Yeah.
only the Q&A, which he can't
Yeah.
see.
Yep. Got
Peter,
it.
coming in by phone. Okay, good. What does that say?
Go ahead and start.
Okay, we have enough people, right, to start?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, very good. Okay, hold on a second. I'm just opening up my agenda again.
Mark, do you want me to share the agenda to the screen or do you want to just keep it?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Thank you.
You just need to state your name for the record, for the roll call.
Peter Smith.
Okay, and okay, so we're viewing the screen for the agenda. Does everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Did people have a chance? Have you guys had a chance to review the minutes for the May 5th meeting?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Does anybody have any issues with the minutes for May 5th? That need,
Nope.
okay. Do we have a motion for approving the minutes as received?
Sure, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second. Bob Abriola, second.
Thank you very much. Can we get a vote? I vote aye.
Aye.
All right.
Any nays? I'm sorry, were there any nays? And any abstentions? Okay, the ayes carried, so the minutes are approved. Unfortunately, we don't have Nori at the moment, so we can't get a budget committee update. Although,
Mark, I can run through these spreadsheets if you want me to. If not, we can just move on, but it's up to you.
well, Sabrina, could you, for the people who benefited people who weren't here in last month, can you just reiterate the update on rolling over the budget for the current, because of the COVID-19?
Sure.
Situation.
So you'll see in your package kind of what we've spent so far on each specific line item in the current budget, what we have available and what we've expended. And you'll see on that last page, if I can bring it up. Here you go. The last page here, it'll show you kind of what we have left to spend this year. All of those remaining balances, if we don't spend them, will run over and automatically roll over into next year's budget. So that is the first thing. And then I guess I can kind of just run into the next item on the agenda, which is next year's budget. So we got approved for the 22,000 and change for operating, which is what we had this current year. And we also got approved for the $50,000 for our installments in the Martin Luther King corridor.
Oh, that's 100% now, huh? Great.
Yep, so that passed council. So all of those are now confirmed to be in our accounts by July 1st. So we'll have a substantial amount in our operating budget, around $35,000, and then we'll have the $50,000 to actually implement art in the MLK corridor with the $50,000. So we'll have both of those funding sources coming up. And that's it for those two things.
So just briefly in terms of the MLK project, I know we'll want to have a deeper discussion on that as far as how the Arts Commission is going to implement and so on. But in terms of, will there be anybody from the MLK side, the grant giving body, that we need to integrate with in regard to what we're doing and how we plan to implement? I'm just curious.
At this point, we don't know if we received the grant or not, but I was the applicant on the grant, so no, there would be no other party. I would suggest greatly that we involve the community members, probably the churches and things like that, when we're actually soliciting artists, to make sure we're getting community representation and making sure we're promoting it in the right way and involving the community in the right way, before we just go installing art everywhere. But that there's no other official body we will need to consult with.
Okay, but it might be good for us to, for our sake of purposes, to sort of map out the area that this art will be installed in. Because I know the street, but I don't know generally like where it's expected to be. Right?
Yeah, so I have a map of the entire geography for the planning study that is essentially what the geography and where you can install the art anywhere in that neighborhood. And it's pretty large, so I can send that around once we get into further discussions about that. But it goes all the way to Day and Raymond Street on that side and MLK on the other side, and then it goes almost south all the way to the water and up to 95. So it's pretty sizable.
Wow, okay. I know that there's a lot of underpasses and things like that in that area. I know that there was one area you talked about, an underpass where that goes underneath the train tracks. Is that in that area?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Oh, great. That's awesome. I think that's going to be important for the community. Okay. So was there anything else to update on the budget in general before we move on?
Nope, just that we all got good news that we have money now, so.
That's excellent. Okay, cool. So let's move on to the communications committee, and let's hear from Peter Smith and staff.
Yeah, is Michelle on the line? I can't see. I can't get the, she looks like she's on. Is there a way we can see the group view?
Yeah, up above where there's all those tiny little boxes on your right. That's,
Yeah, I think,
just click on that and you'll see everybody.
yeah, I think it's because I'm on the web thing. It's not letting me do it. Okay, anyways. So I can't really see anybody, but Michelle's been doing a great job. Fantastic. She's really even stepped it up from the last time that we commended her work. You know, she's been staying on top of all the events, you know, really putting out a lot of inspirational content. So again, kudos to Michelle for all her hard work. We are going to start pushing the Make Music Day. I had sent a post to Mark. I don't know if you've got a chance to send it out to everyone, but we're going to spend $200 boosting it. It's just basically an animated post trying to get people to sign up. So Mark can talk about that part of it as far as how that's going to work. And then I'd also start working on our magnet for the I Heart Art initiative so that we can get, you know, folks to, it's as soon as we can have events. I'm not sure when we're going to have events, but so that we can have people sign up so that we can start building a mailing list. Basically, just to remind everybody, this is the tchotchke that we're going to offer, so people will sign up on our mailing list so that we can start pushing out events to them. And that's pretty much it from the communications committee.
Peter, Melissa, sorry, I'm just mixing up the names, my ADD today. Sabrina, can you unshare the screen? Oh, Peter, are you able to share that artwork with the group?
I can send it to everyone. I can, yeah, I don't think I can control the screen here, but I can send it to Sabrina.
Yeah, that'll be fine. So Peter did a really, I don't know if that's your final design, but it's a really great design.
No,
Peter,
I more or less wanted.
now to share yourself, screen share yourself.
Yeah.
I'm on the web thing, so it's not letting me do much of anything. I'm just going to send it out to everybody right now.
Okay, but it's a really great idea, I will say. I really like the idea a lot.
And I'm also going to send out the Make Music post.
Yeah.
So the idea with this I Heart Art logo is just to kind of get the ball rolling, see what people think of it. You know, I'm not really saying that I'm going to be the one to design it. If other people have ideas, you know, I'd love to get some other takes on it. But, you know, or if there's other messages or other ideas, again, what I'm trying to do is build the mailing list so that we can start, you know, blasting out events to folks on a weekly basis. So the best way to build a mailing list, obviously, is to go to events, you know, and meet people and get them to sign up. So, and then the other piece of creative that's in that email that I just sent out was the little video that you guys can watch. Maybe Sabrina, once you get it, you can put it up on your screen because I don't have that ability.
That was the Make Music Day video you made?
Either one. They should both. Yeah, I mean, if you can do it, Mark. Whatever. I just can't do that through the web browser.
I liked it. I liked it, and thank you again for the initiative to create that.
I didn't get it yet, so I think I just got it.
So either or, Sabrina, it doesn't matter. I just wanted people to see what we were going to spending money on.
Video piece, but I can share the logo piece.
Yeah. I love that art is featured in Heart. I think that was really, really cool.
So the idea is to have a generic message that not necessarily about the Norwalk Arts Commission, but we are featured as far as the @ symbol. Maybe we come up with something. Doesn't have to be either one of these, but these are potentially ownable at pages in Facebook, Instagram. We'd have to look around and see what's available across everything, so that no matter where you go, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, that you would find us at that Norwalk Art or whatever it ends up being. So Bob, I know you're a designer also. I'd love to see your take on this idea, or if there's other ideas. Again, we just need something that people will want.
I like it. I like the I like actually the red version because you can really see art kind of separated out.
I think so too. Yeah, I kind of like that too. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's pretty strong. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it, but I like that it says, the black one says Norwalk Art. So can we combine the two where it's the red one with the @ Norwalk Art?
Of course. You could Chinese menu it.
Also, I like the heart shape and the one on the left.
Me too.
Yeah.
There.
Mhm.
I think that's kind of a little more free form and artsy, and the other one is more clip art. So why don't you use
Yep.
the heart on the left, but the all red version.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I realize that. You're absolutely right. I like that. It looks hand drawn.
Yeah, totally. It's good.
Very good. Yeah.
Okay. So I can.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead, Mark.
I could see how it could be printed on a black background. It would still work very well. It's great.
Yeah, I'll fart around with it to try to get it. I mean, this was just a quick pass, but if you guys are kind of into, Sabrina, would you try playing the video, see what happens? I saw it on your screen.
I played it
In
on
that
my
email.
computer over here. It's pretty good.
And
Where were you? Yeah. So you had it. It was in the email. Yeah, there it is. Try. What happens if you click on that? Yeah, you're on a PC, so it'll probably spaz out. No, nothing happens.
a look into Sabrina's world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
What she
flipping
got?
through, but can you guys see that it's flipping through? It's playing it.
No.
I doubt the
No.
sound will play because of how
No, there's no sound. No sound.
yeah.
It's
think
not on
that's-
your screen.
It might be
Yeah,
playing,
okay.
but you got to. Are you sharing your whole screen? What are you sharing?
Hold on.
Everyone should have it at this point, so they can just play it on their own.
Yeah, that's totally. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there you go. Now you're talking.
You won't be able to hear the sound, but you should be able to
There's
see.
no sound.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
And these are all photos from that Make Music Day makes available to everyone.
Awesome.
So what we're going to do is drive people to Mark's email, I guess, and he's going to sign people up. And then we're going to promote the shit. Go ahead.
I can update everybody. I mean, it's out of turn with our agenda, but I can update everybody on what's happening with Big Music Day in general.
All right, you can stop playing it anytime.
Yeah, it's cool. And maybe just on that where you use the hashtag, maybe you could use the hashtag that we're going to use for Norwalk specifically. That would be cool.
Okay, which is what?
Make Music Day Norwalk. pretty complex.
Make Music Day Norwalk, is that what you said?
So it's great. Thank you for doing that.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, it looks good, Peter. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So, are we all? Are we complete on our social media update?
Unless Michelle has something she would like to ask or answer or comment. Like I say, she's been doing a great job.
Peter, I had a quick question. So are we like boosting posts, or like, what do you do like, what do you, I know Michelle's posting a lot because I follow and she's doing a great job posting, but do we boost too? Like, what do we do?
We will once there's events. I mean, unless we're going to boost this.
Well, there are events. There's online events that I've been posting about.
Yeah, totally. Oh, yeah. So Michelle, yeah. So I know you've been posting, like we have the Maritime Garage Gallery. We have an online show right now. So she's been posting that. But do you boost those, or are you just posting?
No, but I should be. I absolutely should be doing
boost
that.
those. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Also, what do you think about a Facebook ad for our page itself, as well, in addition to boosting individual posts?
Sure. I think we can do that. We can definitely do that. Like our page.
And then once you have the I Heart Art thing, that becomes really attractive thing. I mean, people don't love our current Arts Commission logo. I mean, we all admit.
It's not really a logo. It's just
favorite. But if we can come up with something eye-catching for a page ad, I think that's definitely worth doing.
I think that there's a way, I'll have to work it out, but I think there's a way that Michelle will be able to do the boosting herself. And we can just kind of talk about how that will work. But I'll before I start blathering on about it, let me make sure I can do that.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, sounds good. Moving on to the Infrastructure Committee, Sabrina has been working with the legal department. I should say the legal department has been working on reviewing our public art policy regarding murals and other similar installations. And they've been putting an awful lot of work into reviewing it. One of the things that they are establishing is the city's ability to form this policy based on state laws that give us the right to do that. And state law in Connecticut generally on this subject is, they're looking for precedents, in other words, that empowers us to basically, decide on these things on behalf of the community. And then, so this is like a process that they're going through from a legal point of view. They're really, really looking at First Amendment rights to make sure that we're not, putting the city in any sort of liable state that could violate that. And they're really reviewing this very carefully. There's we were working with a lawyer by the name of Chrissy Jean, who was working on behalf of the city. Now there's a new lawyer who's working on the case, working very hard on it. I've seen a lot of the, Sabrina sent me a memo that had a lot of their legal opinions sort of laid out as far as a strategy. They don't have yet a sort of like approved version of what we sent them for us to consider for vote yet, but just to let you know that this is an ongoing process. And, we hope to, get it hope to get it completed as soon as we can. So one of the things that, we pointed out in, I don't know if you guys know, but in Los Angeles, California, they tried to push through a mural policy And ultimately, because they didn't really consult with all of the various parties and entities and especially the arts community, it took them ultimately 7, almost 8 years to get this approved because there was so much opposition. And it's one of those things that when you try to push something through and you don't consult with people, that's kind of what happens. People dig in their heels because they weren't consulted. We want to make sure that this policy makes sense for Norwalk. We want to make sure it's legal for Norwalk, but we also want to make sure that it, is in the spirit of helping promote art, not just trying to be bureaucratic for the sake of it, of that. And we all agree we want to promote art and we want to promote quality art. And we just want to make sure that this policy that we come up with really just is enacted in the spirit of that. So that said, Sabrina, do you have anything to add?
Nope, just what you said. We're still working on it, and it might end up being that we can do nothing, or I don't know yet. So that's just kind of where it stands.
Yeah. So in terms of what Sabrina said about the idea of doing nothing, there is no clear law that supports our legal abilities in terms of private property, especially. And it may turn out that the best policy is to not have a policy when it comes to private property. It's one of those things that, I know Emerson was really pushing for not having us weigh in on private property in terms of owners' rights and stuff. We just have to see really what comes out in a wash at the end, because there is no clear precedent. And that's one of the reasons that I think that so many municipalities just have different policies. There's no one right way to go with this because there's no one clear precedent. I don't think we want to go all the way up to the Supreme Court to tell us what to do, but some people have gone that far, not looking for precedent and guidance. So that said, it's just TBD, and hopefully, we'll hear from them by July. That's really all I can say at this point. Moving on to the public art collection, I have reached out to Judith Bacall, and I have reached out to another photographer by the name of John Shilowski. They are both working on quotes for photographing the public art collection. It occurred to me recently that because the art collection is fairly extensive, I know that we do want a certain quality of photographs. But that said, it doesn't necessarily have to be one photographer who does the entire collection. But it really just comes down to what the price is going to be, because the cost that we're spending determines the number of people that we have to receive quotes from. We could go with only one quote, but only if it was under $1,000. And based on the 2 people I've spoken with, that doesn't seem like it would be the case. Because it would be at least 150 different images, all in different locations. So it's going to be, a substantial amount of work. And we know that we wanted to get done correctly. So I think once we get those quotes from these 2 people, we'll be able to just realize, whether we need to get more quotes or not. John Shilowski, just so you know, he's a guy in Norwalk. He does a lot of the Beat magazine covers, and he's known for his art and food photography in general. He's also a videographer as well. So.
Hey, Mark, from a bidding standpoint, typically in the industry, it's 3 competitive quotes. So don't know if we want to follow those guidelines, but if you get 3, you use the lowest of the 3 and you meet your criteria, that's usually defendable from a bidding standpoint in procurement.
I like the idea, and I think in general, we had that guy, Alex, who did the dance photography. We liked his work. I think we should get quotes. We can get quotes from a few. We don't need to just go with the fastest or the, but we, and I agree, we can take the cheapest, or we can take You know,
I just think because we're this entity, you don't want people questioning how we're buying. So get 3 competitive bids, it's defendable.
We have to follow the city's procurement process, which if you're spending under 10,000, it's 3 quotes, under 5, it's 2, and under 1, it's only 1.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
so if it's under 1, you only get 1, or you could still
If
get.
it's under $1,000, you can get 1, but the more the better is the rule of thumb.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Okay, so hopefully I'll have those quotes for you to consider by July. Both Judith went dark on me briefly, but I will follow up with her as soon as possible. Moving on to the Isaac Square Art Park. We've had a lot of new pieces get added recently. One that's 2 that are spectacular from Mr. Robert Abriola and his lovely girlfriend, and whose name I just briefly forgot. I'm so sorry.
Leslie Cover.
Leslie, she's awesome. No, they're both really terrific pieces. Definitely take a walk on your time. Come over and walk through the parking lot and take a look at all the new art. The pieces are fantastic, and so in the latest development there, Bob will be able to tell you. Bob has volunteered for he and Leslie to be curators for this art park, to help guide the owner of the lot to have even more other quality artists weigh in with their work. To update everyone, in case you don't know, the owner of the lot has been installing these sort of freestanding, they're like billboards, but they're essentially murals that are double-sided, constructed out of wood in the parking lot. So he's turned this parking lot into what he's calling an art park. And it's been great to have. We had a family here the other day in the parking lot flying kites, and we've had people riding through on their bicycles and people walking through just to enjoy the art. It's been a really, really great community project, and looking forward to seeing more developed there. And you should definitely talk to Bob if you're interested. If you're artist, if you're Helen, you or any other artists are interested in contributing to this project, definitely you can talk to Bob or myself.
Yeah, there's a few more panels left, and what I had offered Jason Milligan, the owner of the lot, is just a way that you have a view, and being a representative of the Norwalk Arts Commission, we can ensure the integrity of the artwork and it's installed properly, and then maybe there's a rotation because once all the panels are taken, we'll probably get more interest from more artists. So I volunteered to help him with that.
Bob, what size are they?
They're what are they, 4x6, Mark, or 6x8?
They're 3x6 and with a 1/2-inch border. And then some of them are double panels, so they're 6x6.
Okay.
And I can send, if you want to, you can look on the Arts Commission Instagram as well as on my Facebook, and you can see some of the ones that have been done and posted.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you can also look at the Norwalk, the hashtag Norwalk CT murals, and there are a lot of them posted there on Instagram under that hashtag.
Yeah, that's the best way to go because he has them all posted. So it's Norwalk, Connecticut murals on Instagram.
Yeah. And it's interesting because a lot of people had informally seen downtown Norwalk as the arts district, but it's almost like becoming like this art park is like the center of it. And full disclosure, my business is here, and I really enjoy it. It's been really terrific, especially in the middle of this pandemic, to have this sort of colorful display in the community, giving people something to do that's safe. It's been really good. It's really good. I'm really happy for it. Moving on to Make Music Day. Make Music Day we've had a lot of interest in people performing live in the community, similar to last year, despite, the pandemic and despite, even with social distancing. And on a personal level, I'd be all for it. However, because the Make Music Day officially is funded in part by the state of Connecticut through the Department of the Arts, and also because the Norwalk Arts Commission voted to endorse it, and with respect to the Arts Commission, we want to make sure that Make Music Day follows the guidelines established by Governor Lamont and the state of Connecticut with regard to, live entertainment. And currently, I don't know if you call it a ban, but the guidelines are stating that there's, at this point, no live entertainment in the state of Connecticut. And like I say, there's people that have reached out to me that said they wanted to do their own thing on the street anyway. It's not for me to tell them they can't do what they want to do. But as far as what is official Make Music Day, we are only going to be doing streamed events on Facebook and Instagram. So what we're doing is we're having people sign up. We are scheduling these streams, 30-minute streams scheduled throughout the day, June 21st to Sunday. We're currently, the schedule is starting about 4 o'clock. It's going from 4 to 9. We may start earlier depending if we get more people signing up. But essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to be publishing a schedule of these streamed events with the links, and that's going to be what's going to constitute the official Make Music Day of 2020. It's not the one that we wanted to have, but it's better, we feel, than doing nothing. We want Norwalk to be a part of this worldwide event. So that said, Peter is created this video to help me find more artists and get the word out. I'm sharing my email with artists, and I'm asking them to contact me where I can explain what's happening. And my email has been shared through a dozen social media posts and Blue State and stuff. It's my business email. I have no problem with sharing. So you guys are welcome. If you have music artists that you know that want to participate, by all means, give them my email address.
Hey, Mark, did we do this last year, the Norwalk Arts Commission, or is this the first year with the Make Music Day?
Last year, I didn't seek Arts Commission approval. I didn't really have an ask, but there was Music Day last year. It was the first time, and it went off very well. We had 40 independent events that happened throughout the city that day. And we had wanted to reach that number, if not double it this year. So like I say, this is not the one we wanted to have, but we're still going to have one.
Is there any way Sabrina can do or that Josh can do a press release to do a call for musicians, and then also maybe something to kind of get some more publicity around it of, learn your local artists, and if you're looking for something to do that day, sign into the streaming?
Yeah, so that's one of the good things about the Arts Commission endorsing it. We didn't ask for anything. All we asked was for that. And last year, I shouldn't let say that the city didn't help last year. Because last year I went directly to the mayor and had to sit down with him. He introduced me to Josh and directed Josh to do it. I didn't go through the Arts Commission to get that done, but this year, yeah, Josh will support it, and I think that would be a good idea for him to do, because it's about how it's shaping up, not just about the event itself. We'll definitely reach out to him. And Norwalk Now is also supporting it. Norwalk Now, if you're not familiar, Norwalk Now is like a quasi-marketing program. Used to be independent of the city to some degree, and now it's fully funded by the city. So Norwalk Now is supporting the event, and they're going to be doing additional press and social media. But thank you for that. That's it. That's all I have for infrastructure. if anybody else that's listening has anything to add for infrastructure, please let us know. If not, then we're going to move on to new business. And the first item is the Washington Street Barriers Project. That's Mr. Bob Abriola to speak to us on that. Bob?
Yeah, I had to unmute. Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, so Kathy Aber, who she's in charge of the parking authority. She actually came up with the idea, so I can't take credit for it. But there's concrete barriers that were installed on Washington Street that run the whole length of the street. And basically what that's doing is it's allowing the restaurants to have their tables on the sidewalk, and the barriers are in, I guess, in a portion of the street. So that part of the street now becomes the sidewalk. So it separates the tables from the people that have to walk by for social distancing. So she had thought, like, wouldn't it be great to decorate the concrete barriers? So I said, sure, good idea. I'm happy to help. And I, reached out to Sabrina and Mark on it. And I guess, Sabrina, you did a little research and found out that painting right onto the concrete barriers wasn't an option. So I researched material. We talked about canvas, but I think like vinyl tarps would work out well, and we can buy them to the exact size. So conceptually, what we would do is there's 22 barriers. We would I would curate, and we would select 22 artists in the area, and we would buy the tarps. We'd have to fund that, but we'd have a theme. Based on the theme, the artists would have guidelines as to what they would do, and we'd have like I guess a time period. They can't paint on site there, so the tarps actually serve two purposes. They can paint the artists can paint at their studios, and then the city would have to install them once they're completed. Conceptually, I was thinking about a unity concept where it would be organic, and there'd be visualized like green vine kind of interconnecting each of the barriers, and artists would have latitude as to adding florals and butterflies and just kind of positive visuals with some pretty bright colors to make it upbeat. And I didn't want to make it COVID-19, and I didn't want to make it too specific about that, but I think positive imagery and kind of the resurgence, I think that was the title that I came up with, like resurgence, so or emergence, resurgence. So kind of correlating that we're coming out of the pandemic and the city's resurging and the people are resurging, just to give them like growth in life. So it's like the general concept and the idea. We'd have to fund this, so the Norwalk Arts Commission would have to fund it. We would pay the artists for their supplies, so we'd have to buy the tarps. They're roughly around $40 a piece, and then supplies, estimating at maybe $150 to $200 we'd give per artist. So around around 5,000 in total for the project.
I like the idea of keeping it evergreen. It's good.
Yeah, it's I think it ties to what's going on in the world, but it doesn't have to be very specific where we're talking about, coronavirus and also.
Time, yeah.
Yeah, so, I think keeping it growth oriented would be great, because it's all about kind of starting the economy back up and the growth and peace and harmony, and we're working together as a community and as a city. So I think something like that. I wrote a general guideline to Sabrina and Mark. I probably put a little bit more pen to it, and I don't think we need to do an open call for entries. I certainly know all the good artists in the area, but maybe we could do a call if you guys wanted to do it. We could do that as well. And the tarps would be 8 feet by 20 feet.
Ooh,
the barriers are 20 feet long.
Oh, they're 20 feet long.
Yeah, they're 20 feet.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that was.
No, just so you know, I got formal approval from the mayor to move forward. So if we approve this, you can like get the ball rolling.
Great, great.
Sabrina, was the Arts Commission going to fund this in total, or were we going to split with DPW at all? Was there any discussion on that?
There was no discussion on that, but DPW will probably assist in the fastening piece of this and the security piece of it. I would rather have them install it on the barriers so that if something happens during installation, it's on DPW and their own barriers, not on the artist.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we definitely need them to install. And I think like screws, concrete screws, they would drill in, some like 1-inch screws with grommets would do the trick fine. And this way you don't have to worry about them getting, pulled off. I would encourage the artist to use like, some fluorescent paints so that there's reflective and, there's no issue as far as visibility at night or during the day.
Well, Sabrina, so as far as the screwing into the tarp, I know that the issue with not painting it was not to damage or in any way impact the barriers themselves. Do we need DPW to approve the screws with the grommets?
DPW is going to look into either a grommet option or an adhesive option.
Okay.
It has to be kept taut, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I really don't like the adhesive because then it's kind of more permanent. And then if we have to rip them off, we'd probably tear them.
They were thinking of putting a mechanism on top of it to then be adhesive off something else that's not the barrier.
Right.
I'm leaving the discretion on that really up to them as long as it's secure, because screwing into the barrier might mean ruining it. At least that's what they've said to me. I think they're just looking into different options.
Yeah. And then do we have any idea, granted, we can't look into the crystal ball to know how long this COVID-19 thing is going to impact our community, but do we have any idea of how long they would plan to keep these in place?
At least until the end of the season, which will most likely be around September or October.
Okay.
And then what happens to them? I'm sorry if I missed that.
My question, what happens to them and what happens?
So what I'd like to do is, if the artists can donate, we could keep them for an event. We can certainly give them back to the artist, but if we had all these, wouldn't they be nice to be a backdrop for something down the road? I don't know if there's any event that'll happen, but I could see them kind of being a backdrop somewhere.
Events, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like a symbol of our finest hour, what we did, to cheer everybody up or, improve the mood.
Like, let's say there's some kind of big gala event, in the center somewhere inside, and these can be like hanging it, decorative up in a ceiling somehow. Like there's a lot of creative ways. They're banners with grommets, so you can just hang them.
Cool.
So I like the idea, and we'd have to give the artist something. If we can swing a couple $100 per artist, we can certainly get 20 artists to do this. I would do one, and I think Leslie's going to do one. So we just need 20 more artists.
Okay, so aside from the implementation, which would be on DPW, this $5,000, does that cover Bob, does that cover giving money to the artist and the materials itself?
Yeah, it would. Because we'd need 20, around 5,000 would do the trick.
All right, so there's 20 barriers?
22.
Okay.
So if we gave an artist 200 each, that's what, 4,400 right there. And then the actual tarps, I think I priced out at like $34. Sabrina, keep me honest. I sent you an email on it. It's around 30, 35, $40 a piece. So.
Oh, you mean $200 including their supplies?
No, 200 for each artist. That's to cover their supplies and the cost of doing it. Like if they can do it.
Right.
I
Right.
think that
That's
I think that the supplies would cost more than that.
Nah.
Really?
Well,
Just paint.
if they're using crazy stuff, they could, but I mean, I just did the mural for the art park and I was about $100 for that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, do we have a motion for second motion? I mean, do we have a second?
Yeah, a second.
Let's show by roll call, yays? I would say yay.
Melissa, yay.
Peter Smith, yay.
Bob, yay.
Helen, yeah.
How many votes is that? Is that 4?
That's 5. You're all set.
Okay. The ayes, any nays, just officially? And any abstentions? Okay, the ayes carry. Thank you very much.
Great idea.
Great
Awesome.
idea. Great, Kathy. The last item is a traffic box that we need to approve the design. This is by SPAG that's going to install this at the corner of River and Wall Street. You guys may have seen this before. We considered
Yeah.
it before, and Janet had asked for a horn to be added to the design to show more diversity and style, and they did that. And this is the final design that we've been asked to weigh in on.
Diversity in what way?
Well, because it was just guitars before.
Oh, I see.
Not racial diversity, musical diversity.
I didn't think it was racial diversity. I just, and I'm trying to figure out how can
And Janet said this, the horn gig is sold.
drums that they were doing in the park this weekend.
Yeah,
Never mind, I didn't say that.
that's funny.
And on this particular box, there's only 3 sides visible. So these are obviously all 3 sides. You know, I like
good.
the saxophone. I thought it was neat. Do we have a motion to accept this design?
I have a motion. I'll motion for acceptance.
I second the motion.
Okay, we take a roll call vote on this. I would myself vote yes.
Melissa, yes.
Peter, yes.
Yes.
Bob, yes.
And that's 5, Sabrina?
Yep, all set.
Oh, I should have told you, Brian and Janet both voted for this via email. So that, I should have mentioned that before.
Lapathy.
Right. Okay, so that's our entire agenda. Was there anything else for old business from anyone else? This pretty much is all the business that I have. Anybody else?
Oh, the only other thing, actually, Mark, I wanted to mention was for the barriers in Washington Street. We talked about having the merchants, they can sponsor, like have their names on the banners or the vinyl, and that would be another way that we can generate some revenue. Are we still okay with that? You know, we're going to fund the 5,000, but we might be able to make 5,000 too by having sponsorships, like $50.
The only thing with that is zoning.
We already spoke about it, Mark. We would just it would have to say only sponsored by the owner. It couldn't be like the majority of the artwork.
Right, basically there's a limit to the height of the letters within the zoning rules, which I think is 6 inches, but I have to double check to be sure. But I'm sure it wouldn't be bigger than that anyway, so I'm sure that's gonna be totally fine. And if that
Would that cause an issue with any of the restaurants that it's hanging in front of? You know, if another restaurant sponsored, you know what I mean? Like, could
No,
it
it
get
can
tricky with that?
only be allowed to be the restaurant or person directly behind it to be able to sponsor the barrier in front of it.
Oh, okay, got it.
So the artist / Bob would have to go and ask if they were interested and then pay the money into it to get their name on it, essentially.
And we wouldn't do logos. We would just have like the artist like write the name of the restaurant or the establishment.
Yeah, a lot of
And
people.
we're not really gonna ask, we're not gonna ask opinions if they like it or anything, right? We're just gonna, here's
it's
your
like,
banner.
you want to sponsor, it's $50. We're going to do the decorative. I'll explain the theme and they can have their name on the outside.
Hold on, we have a question. I believe. Elizabeth, yeah.
I don't have a copy of the agenda, so I don't have the exact language for either of the motions that just happened.
Okay, no problem. Sabrina, would you be, could you forward this to Elizabeth?
Elizabeth, do you have an email that's good for you?
Sure, it's just my full name. I'd offer it to you in a chat, but I see that's not working. So
The motion I made was for the banners on Washington Street and a budget of $5,000. That was what I was motioning.
Hey, Sabrina, this is Melissa. I always thought that we couldn't take in revenue for some reason, even sponsorship.
We can take it in not to pay ourselves. It would pay the artist directly. We wouldn't.
Okay.
The clock.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure this was something that we could do.
Yeah. We couldn't take it on behalf of the Arts Commission for ourselves. It would be the artist directly working with them and getting the $50 to add it on.
And then the other question I have is, I mean, I'm all for doing this. I do have a question though. Do we think by putting the name of the restaurant, which I agree, it makes it easier to find them, do we feel like that could be something that might be challenging with our murals and everything with planning and zoning? Because, people might say, well, that's advertising.
No,
I just want to make sure we don't have any complications later with anything.
That's why we limited it to the size. That's only the 6 inches, and you can only say sponsored by the restaurant. You can't do anything else.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
I already spoke with planning and zoning, so we're all good on that.
Okay, great, thanks.
What I like is when the sponsors and the artists, they're putting it with their @ sign, so it's like, it becomes like their little social handle. I think that really works for me.
I have to go, guys. Good night.
Okay, thank you. We're pretty much at the end of our meeting and our agenda. If anybody else, if we're all wrapped on old business, then I could say, do we have a call for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
I second. This is Melissa.
Okay, agreed.
Roll call, I'm an aye on adjournment. Everybody else?
Aye.
Bye.
Bye.
Aye.
Bye and bye.
Here, if you want to.
Elizabeth, do you want to stay on so you can give me your email and I'll stop the recording so it won't be like live?
Bye, everybody.
I'm just gonna email you. I'll email you. You'll find it.
Perfect. That works.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.